good evening. Happy Monday. It is 5:30 p.m. That means it is time for the Future Wives Club. So whether you're joining us on YouTube or Facebook, Kim Stotts or Nick Stotts or Firehouse, whatever page you're on, I welcome you to join us tonight, to join the conversation, to ask questions, to engage. We love that. I am your I don't know, relationship coach. I don't know what to call it. I feel like that might be too formal. But my name is Kimberly Stotzer. I love talking to women and men about how we can build healthy, sustainable, satisfying relationships. And we're taking that from a Christian faith based perspective, although we welcome everybody to participate in the conversation. Come along, listen in. Tonight, I have a special guest. She is a friend of the family and of the ministry. She has actually her own ministry in France. And you might have seen her on Meditation Monday with my husband, Pastor Nick, in previous weeks, if you check that out. I would like to introduce to you the lovely LaTasha.
Hello. Hi, guys. Hello. I'm so honored to be with you, Apostle Kim, on the Future Wives Club. I knew this was going to happen at some point, so I'm very excited to talk about this topic today. So thank you guys for having me.
I am so excited to have you too, even though my husband is terribly jealous about this right now.
He's going to be okay.
He's going to be okay. I don't know why he thinks that I stole you. Like I didn't steal you. I'm just borrowing. This is what friendship is about. This is what marriage is about, right? What's yours is mine.
Sharing. You guys are one. He's going to be fine.
Yes, he's going to be fine. And I'm excited to hear from you. And we're going to talk about confidence tonight. Specifically, I have you on talking about godly confidence. But I want to talk a little bit about, for 2 seconds, what Pastor Nick and I have been doing for the past few weeks. So for the past few weeks, Pastor Nick has been my host. My own husband has been my co-host, my guest, and he's been just letting us into the minds of men. Fantastic conversation. And he says some groundbreaking things that actually men just kind of nod about. But women, I don't think we walk around being aware of, like the difference between connecting with a man who's already marriage minded and one who's not yet is a difference between him knowing if he wants you to be his wife within 1 to 3 months or 2 to 3 years, right? And what's happening after that initial moment where he believes he wants you to marry him. He helped us out last week and got into some good and some controversial, because that's how he does, conversation about what men find attractive. He gave his perspective on femininity.
Interesting.
Okay? Yeah. Okay. And his view or his definition of femininity was a little bit more I don't know. I say it was kind of new. I don't want to call him millennial because he killed me. He's not technically a millennial, but he definitely, I said, women hear femininity and what we think men want is pink lipstick or, pink heels, red lipstick, like really frilly. And he was saying that his definition of femininity aligned a lot more with vulnerability, with the way that women communicate. Where there's not a sense of competition with men, but rather a sense of like openness. And he was saying that a lot of women are single, but they don't present as available.
That makes sense.
Right? Because of that lack of openness and vulnerability, they might be single, they might be attractive, but their face, their tone when they talk, like the smile, the expression, they don't look available. They look guarded or defensive or just otherwise unavailable. So it was some interesting conversation. And some women really said, okay, I hear what you're saying about, and he's also talked a little bit about, women not being so attached to the more shallow or I don't know how to say it. Some things on our list that are maybe not as essential, right? That pertain just to looks or different things. And we had some lovely sisters come up and challenge that and say, I think women are more likely to look beyond the physical than men are. And that men actually seem to consistently go toward a specific type of woman, right? And these are women who belong to who are believers from different parts of the country that were kind of agreeing over that. men tend to go for a different type of women. And Pastor Nick was saying, yeah, looks are involved, but hear me on this femininity piece. So I mean, I think it was really good. Everyone was heard, but I wanted to talk about confidence today. What I took away from that conversation was that as women, I don't know that we always understand or own the invisible parts of attractiveness and what level they're playing in the game, because some of those women that I have heard over time saying that men are choosing women who look a certain way are actually really beautiful. I mean, like above average beauty, more beautiful than the average woman. I see still thinking in their mind, well, men like women who look a certain way. And I know from interacting with many women over time that sometimes it's not your size, it's not your hair, it's not your looks. You actually have aesthetically a very pretty face, but there's other parts of attractiveness that aren't just about the physical. And
Right.
confidence is a big one of them. So I wanted to talk about godly confidence. Sometimes um we as women, actually men too, but let's focus on women.
Okay.
Sometimes we as women, we can be beautiful and not realize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, not realize it, and then not knowing that value really kind of come off as um desperate for attention or needy, or maybe being insecure and kind of defensive. We come off as like kind of pushing away. So when a man does approach and is thinking, wow, she's beautiful, and he says hello, instead of her smiling and going hi and being really kind of open to the moment, she's feeling insecure already. So
So she's trying to hide. Yeah.
right, that attitude's already there subconsciously. She's already like hiding, or oh, is he talking to me, or so she's already awkward, and he's thinking, oh, okay,
She's not interested.
she's not interested in me, she's not available.
Interesting. I find this conversation so interesting simply because I know. So I'll give you some context. I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. And I feel like guys in Detroit don't care if you're open or not. Like they're going to shoot their shot. Do you hear me? They ain't reading no body language.
South Central too. Yeah.
Right. Like you could have, 5 bags of grocery.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. You could be wearing a complete trash bag and they be like, hey, your face is cute. How you doing? And so for me, to be quite fair, when I went to other parts of the country and even other parts of the world where guys were not that forward, I was like, I'm not 100% sure the message, because I came from such an extreme environment where guys were just like, hey, yo, how are you doing?
Right.
Right.
Me too.
So then like fast forward, I become a Christian, and the sort of guy that would run me off the road to get my phone number isn't exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm like,
not on your list.
Not it. You don't care about my safety. We're on the freeway. Like that. It became this kind of subtlety of like, are you interested? Are you not interested? I can't really read this. Yes. And so for a long time, I thought it was because of the growing up where I grew up, where it was like, okay, very clear, right? You knew a guy, he might come on, he might be real calm, but then he gonna shoot his shot, even if it's low key, and that's exactly what's happening. Now it's like, well, are you shooting a shot? Are you Christian?
What's happening?
What lining me? I can't read this.
Okay, I'm gonna say there's a little bit of something here, because so I had this experience in high school and college. Yeah, I was Christian everywhere, but I grew up in South Central. And my mom always shipped me out for school.
Yeah.
Right? She always she sent me. So in high school, I'm definitely taking, like, it takes buses to get where I'm going, right? I'm literally school in an affluent neighborhood, but I live in South Central, and
Right.
now called South LA. And the difference between the way even boys and then eventually men would approach was so different. I also was accustomed to, you're sitting on the street waiting at a red light and somebody's walking up to your window, right?
Yeah.
They are
Come
coming
on.
to talk to you. Like, you're in the mall, you can't go shopping without being approached. And then you have to have, where I'm from, you have to have a good defense as to why you're not giving your number. Like, you couldn't even just say
Right.
no, because they were used to like the shutdown. They're like, why not? Do you have a boyfriend? Yeah, yeah. Are you faithful? Like,
Right.
what
Like,
about, I'm sorry, the fact that I mentioned him should indicate some level of fidelity, you know?
yes.
Just all of, like, you had to go through like a, it was like practice for trial. You know, you had to go through
Right.
something in order to like actually effectively shut it down. And so that was so different. So when I was in the affluent neighborhood going to school with other, and they were even the same ethnicity, but from more affluent families.
So that the approach was different.
I didn't get it till years later. I'd be looking at a yearbook like, oh, let's hang out over the summer is
Man,
your idea of, like,
let's
you actually meant to spend, like, is that like a date? Are you inviting, like,
get a date.
I don't know what that means. You know what I mean? Like, there were many things that I look back after high school or after college and went, oh, that guy was pursuing me and I blew him off because I was accustomed to, hey, shorty, hey, ponytail, come over here. You know? And so, but I think it's
brown skin, like
plaid skirt, plaid. I was in Catholic school, plaid skirt, or St. Mary's girl. That'll give me the turnaround. St. Mary's. I am not from St. Mary's. I'm from St. Mary's, you know, but that whole thing, it was so, and I know that there's different, like in the South, like there's certain parts of the country that are just really, really like more aggressive, right? There are subcultures that are more aggressive than others. And I agree, in my experience in the church, by the time a man gets saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost, no, by the time he's going through this process, even if he used to approach women like that,
he's not doing that anymore.
And the Christian women are sitting there going like,
so what is happening?
Echo. Is there anyone?
It's literally like that. And I think that's where godly confidence come in, because what I've been saying to my friends and what I've been saying to myself is like, LaTasha, you know what? If you like somebody, if you're interested, because now I don't have the ability to read these signals because, right? Then I have to be able to say, hello, how are you? Smile.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna all go for, lunch after here. Would you be willing to come with us? Like, I'm not trying to pursue the guy, right, and take away his thing, but it's like displaying that I'm open to a conversation, because if I don't, then I feel like I don't know what happens to Christian men when they get saved, but you would think that there would be more confidence in their ability to approach, but it's not that, it hasn't actually been that way. And so it's really interesting to watch it as time goes on, where when you're single, you're like, so is what? How do I respond here?
Could it be that when a man is really just looking to smash, excuse my vulgarity, could it be that when a man is really just looking to do that physical thing, there's not much on the line for him?
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Right. And then when he's like tenderized and he's met the love of God and he's looking for like something real, now he's feeling more vulnerable and exposed. And so this has changed the dynamic. And of course, we can't account for men's insecurity. You can't make him be more confident, but we have to deal with our insecurity, which can teach us to wall off and not even
try to pursue
or shut down people that we didn't even realize we were shutting down, because our default is that. So tell me what come on, what you got about?
Actually, that's what I was gonna say. I remember I was in Bible school, and I because I'm also prophetic and I feel things, even that, right? So
Right.
I don't know. I would be around this one particular guy and I would be like, why do I feel this intense desire for someone every time I'm around you? It's weird. Like, I'm just sitting here minding my business. I said hi to you, and now all of a sudden I'm like, "Where's my husband? Where he at? Where's it?" You know, I mean, it was that intense.
Wow.
So finally, one day he came over to our apartment. We have some mutual friends. He comes up to our apartment. And we're sitting next to each other. We're just chatting, and I said, and I just finally I couldn't take it anymore. I was like, "Listen, who is it in this room?" Like I was getting ready to fight. I was like, "Who is it in this room that really wants a girlfriend or a boyfriend because you're driving me nuts? I am a filler. Stop it."
Stop it.
And so finally, poor guy, he was like, well, you know, I kind of want a girlfriend. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I hope you find her. Like, you're getting on my nerves. Poor guy. What I didn't know is that he actually had a crush on me.
Oh.
So I have like now, not only have I gone prophetic ninja on him because I'm just because I'm irritated because I can feel it, but also he's like, this girl is
Supposed to tell you now.
not never saying anything. So so 6 months later, of course, he comes and tells me he has a crush on me, and I was like, is that what is wrong with you? He's like, yeah, you know, I had a crush on you back in the what? What do you mean? And I think that was a learning experience for me. It was like, okay, LaTasha, yes, you perceive things in the spirit, but Lord, like give the guy a break. Like being and the thing is like I don't know if I was giving off the vibe that I was open, but and to be quite fair, probably wasn't because ministry school was an incredibly intense inner healing identity. It was a lot going on. So in that environment to be then I'm a filler, so I'm feeling everybody's like emotions so extremely, and then trying to separate those from what's mine and what's everybody else's.
Oh yeah.
And and then on top of that, like, okay, does this person like me? Does this person not like me? Okay, they're hanging around a lot. They're not singling me out, so I don't know. Right. So it's trying to navigate that. And so this poor guy, I mean, he's happily married. I love him. His wife is amazing. But it was that moment where I realized, like, okay, I have to be so careful with just that, with my gift, one, and how I use it, but two, like that I'm not being such a kind of like, okay, I'm feeling this in the spirit, and it just kind of it gives the guy an impression I'm closing the door to him because I was frustrated that particular day and I just couldn't take. I was like, listen,
He was like, I better go put my feelings somewhere else. She about to eat me up. I can't tell her it's me.
I was like, it was so intense though. Like I can't even describe it. Like I was just like, sir, I want you to find a girlfriend.
So how would you say that now if you were feeling that?
I think what I would say is like, hey, I think I would definitely be a lot more gentle and say, hey, like, how's things going for you in the area of relationships? Are you dating someone? Are you interested? And kind of just ask questions instead of just like going on the complete attack. Because I think that, and what was interesting is at that point, I would have really been interested in dating him. I thought he was a great guy. It was just that feeling was so intense. And with everything else that was happening, I was just kind of like, look, I can't take your emotions and mine too. Somebody's emotions got to go and it's going to be yours. So I think I would totally now be like, you know what? I'm not sure. One, if you know what's going on with you. Are you dating anybody? Like just kind of opening up the conversation.
Right.
versus like, completely taking the guillotine and just chopping the whole man's head completely off. Uh, but asking questions and just being like, hey, what are you thinking? Like, are you dating someone? Are you interested in someone? And then giving him space to kind of, hey, actually, maybe,
I was
right?
thinking about you.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm like, oh,
I think
yeah,
asking questions is definitely a good way to go, like Antoya was saying. And
yeah.
she was bringing the other side where she sometimes gets, because she can be so friendly that everybody assumes she's flirting, so then she stops saying hello as much because she was like, "Oh."
It's like, forget this. Don't look at me.
But it's right, whoa. But it's important to have that sense of self-awareness, and if
Mm-hmm.
not, then to ask some trusted friends, not the yes people, but the people
Oh,
we know would tell us the truth, to
yeah.
know how we present in the world. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
what we are thinking in our mind is not what's showing on our face.
Yeah,
Like,
that's very true. I think for me, I'm just basically walking around in the world, not even thinking this time that someone would be interested in me. And I think and
mm,
here's why I say that. I've been single now for quite a few years. I think after a while, in order to manage contentment, something
mm,
in you flips where you're like, if I keep desiring this, then I'm not going to be able to maintain contentment.
right.
So then
And
what
I agree
happens?
with that. That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
then you end up kind of walking through life, not with your head down, so to speak, but just kind of like not even thinking about it, because thinking about it sometimes takes you into that rabbit hole of, well, Lord, why is it 19? Well, I've been single since 1989, and what you doing? You know what I mean? I haven't been alive.
Right.
I
I
mean, I
know
was
you've been single since you were like 1. But that
well,
I know that's
like
what
I've been
you're
sick. I
saying.
was 6 in 1989. But that's the point. It's like that's really how so many of us are able to maintain celibacy and maintain our walk with purity and all those things. And
Mhm.
I feel like in the church we've gotten really good at that, but we haven't gotten good at starting conversations, healthy communication. Okay, are we supposed to pursue you, or are we just supposed to wait to be pursued? Like, I think there's, in our
Right.
generation, there's so many things that are redefining in
Yeah.
terms of dating as it's been. And so I think I just kind of got into my space where, like, it's not that I'm not open, but if a guy was like, hey, I'd like to take you on a date, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
you've just been kind of going through your life the way
Going
you
through.
needed
Well, you're
to.
right. I mean, it's not that we should give away that desire, but we do have to kind of put it in its place,
Yeah.
right? We have to kind of put it in at a place where we can be healthy and we can be content, we can have peace and we can have joy and be satisfied with our life and have other loving relationships. And
Yep.
honestly, with women who are unmarried might not realize, if you've not been married before, is there's a lot of married women doing that too. There's a lot of married women who are
Mm,
holding out hope for maybe their relationship to be revived or be restored or become what they're hoping for.
yeah.
And they're in that covenant, but they're having to desire it and pray for it, but also put it in its proper place because you're in
Yeah.
control of another human being. Right. So
Yeah.
those are the kinds of things that people imagine. We imagine that once we have this grand ceremony with a pretty dress,
Mhm.
then everything is just going to be perfection. But that is really a fairy tale. It's not based in reality. We're
Yeah.
still who we are. So we got to find that sense of peace, contentment, happiness, satisfaction. I got to be satisfied in God and me.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not satisfied, that husband can't keep me satisfied. You
Yeah.
know, he might produce
So
some
good.
satisfying moments, but he can't sustain that. So a
Yeah.
lot of married women are dealing with that too. And that's really important because you have to bring it to a certain place. So you might not be aware. But I think that's why we're talking about what we're talking about tonight, because if if we can abide, and
Hmm.
this is a bigger conversation to get into what are all the things that attack our confidence and cause
Hmm.
us to lack confidence in the first
Yeah.
place. But if we can get to a place of really abiding in a place where we are confident hey, God has given me everything. I am blessed. I have everything I
Mhm.
need to take advantage of opportunities in life. And I am laughing when I think of tomorrow because I'm believing
Yeah.
for favor and blessing and good. Like if we can have that kind of energy, that positivity, that light is really attractive.
Mhm.
It really draws people in. And you know what? It makes me I'm gonna say this, and I was not. Let me just say, I was not one of those girls that was a cheerleader in high school. Like
Me
did a
either.
second in junior high, but I did not. Like for a second,
Uh-huh.
I wasn't one of those girls. But it makes me rethink the cheerleader because we
Mm,
always think the cheerleader is favored because she's popular. Well, why is she popular? Well, because she, wears a short skirt, maybe. But have you seen like what clothes look like today? Cheerleaders aren't the only ones wearing those. So it's been a long
child.
time since I was only the cheerleader, right?
Right,
So I
child.
what if what if the cheerleader is popular not just because of the outfit, but actually because of that energy,
The
right?
outgoing, the
That
kind of
sense of
outgoing,
outgoing,
hey, I'm
bringing
here. How are
joy,
you?
bringing that, yeah, like you can do it, you got it, that sense of affirmation and encouragement. What if
Yeah.
it's actually that energy that's kind of
Yeah.
behind that whole archetype and what does that look like? So
Well, I
I'm just
think that's what you say is a good point. It's like men need affirmation, right? They need to, I want to say their egos are so fragile, but the affirmation is a part of the affirmation from us is a huge part of who they are. And it can play into their confidence to either make them more confident or less confident, right? I think for women, we also need affirmation, but
yes.
it definitely happens in a much more in a different way, right? So I know that it's probably going to be controversial, but there's a Beyonce, you know.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. There you are, sis.
Okay, I was like,
I
wait,
got you.
come back. I'm like, I dropped out on Beyonce. I'm sure you guys are
Yeah,
confused. Like,
I thought that was hilarious. I was like, wait, she mentioned Beyonce,
and
and then
then
she
Jesus
disappeared.
was like, and then we're done. Now we're done with this conversation. But can you guys see me?
I got you frozen on the big screen, but I can see you in the studio. So
Okay.
that's real fun. Let me see if I can bring you off and on again. I'm
Okay.
gonna move us
I
around a
said,
little
wait a
bit.
minute.
This is like some of the production magic. Boop, 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 boop,
Yeah,
boop,
I feel
boop.
like it cut me off of the come back.
Yeah. But you know what? Even though this is like such an interesting image, um, I got you. We can do one of these joints so we can still hear you. There you go. There you
Okay,
go.
yeah, here I is. But what I was saying about Beyonce, like there's a song that she sings and she talks about how he makes her feel beautiful, right? And I think about that line from that song. I mean, she doesn't say it in the most wholesome of ways, obviously, but it's an interesting perspective because I don't know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, like she needs to feel affirmed in the fact that he thinks she's beautiful and that she's still desirable after all of these years, right? And I find that
Yeah.
to be so interesting because that women are interested in the longevity of the attractiveness, not just in the fact that you find me attractive now,
That's
right?
good.
But that you are willing to grow and find me attractive when my hair is gray and when I'm no longer, the queen of everything in terms of, my looks are going to transition. You must know that.
Right.
Like, right? And so
Right.
women want that sense of affirmation that says, you are stable and that you will be here, right? Otherwise, we spend our lives just kind of trying to fit into this mold of attractiveness that really isn't realistic for our age as we get older, and really sometimes isn't even healthy, right?
Yeah.
So I find that for me, and I think essentially what you're saying is that obviously that's the world's perspective, but like confidence has to come from this place in the inside, right? Where when we're in a relationship, we're affirming each other, right? I'm not making you feel like you're not a man because you didn't do the thing that I feel like men do. And right, I'm not putting you in that box. And also, um, you're still saying, I am still desire, I am still attracted to you after all of this time.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because for women, that's like our language. We're like, what?
Right.
50
Now
years
you,
old?
now you done said it.
You
Oh.
done, you done did it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, right. We're ready for that. And so I think we affirm each other, but that's not where I think the mistake we make is that's not where our confidence starts. Right. We can't wait for his affirmation to know we're beautiful. And a lot of the struggle for single women, especially when you've been single for a long time and you're not getting that, you know, hey girl, hey, like you used to get, you can start to feel like, okay, well, maybe there's just something wrong with me. And you have to know that those outward signals of like, I'm attracted to you, but not really what I'm trying to do is smash. So I'm going to blow your head up. I'm going to gas you until I get what I want, is a very different thing than a man who's interested in that longevity and relationship with you.
Yeah.
And the
That's so
approach is
true.
different. Yeah.
So where do you pull from for confidence, Tasha?
Whew. I'm going to say that there's like two really good places. Well, there's actually is only one place, and that's the secret place. I think for me, when I was getting trained in the prophetic, especially at Bethel and other places I've been, the very simple word of God saying that someone was beautiful would completely, I remember I gave this young lady this word and I said, God says you're beautiful. Her entire countenance and face lit up because it was like, oh, I don't feel beautiful today. That's literally what she said out of her mouth. I don't feel beautiful today. God must want me to change my perspective because I really feel like I'm a hot mess today. And I thought that was it was such the kindness of the Lord. So I hate kind of sounding like deep and spiritual, like the secret place, but honestly, the secret place it's not that in the secret place, I just feel beautiful. It makes me want to try. Right. Because when you are no longer getting those loud affirmations on the street, not to say that I don't, because Lord, I'm in Detroit, so I still get them. But when you're no longer, I'm going to call them loud affirmations. When you're no longer getting that as much as you used to, especially when you're younger, and it's partially because you're not putting yourself in the same environments anyway, as a woman who is a Christian, that sense of LaTasha, you're beautiful, that comes from God makes me want to say, and I want to showcase that, but not in a way that is dishonoring to you. Right. And so it becomes less about, let me show, like the vanity part, let me braid my hair and, put my makeup on, make sure my face, but it's like that stuff becomes, when you do that, is an expression of the inward beauty, not I'm trying to cover up myself because I don't feel confident. Wow. So
that's good.
Right. So then it just becomes like, okay, God, show me what you see in me as far as beauty is concerned, and then beginning to express that in whatever way the Lord would say is appropriate. Right. So I would definitely say there. I would also say it comes from, you mentioned this early, having good friendships, because I think attractive people are healthy people. So in the physical aspect, I kind of get that affirmation and that sense of wanting to express the beauty that's in me from the Lord, but also in having good, positive relationships around me, that also helps to express it. So when I'm going out with friends, for example, you like all of us have those girlfriends, you go, you're getting dressed up, and especially when you're single, those relationships become like life. And you go out and you get dressed up and you kind of go to a nice dinner or whatever. It's those moments when I'm happy and laughing with my girlfriends or my family members or whoever I'm with at the moment, those moments are also a place of affirmation for me. It's like, you are worth waiting for. You are a person that people like to be around. You are a person that is worth investing this moment of, friendship in. And so for me, that confidence, then, when the guy asked me out, of course you did, because I'm funny and I'm fun. Right. And right. Like I actually have good things to say. How do I know that? Because I've been around people that have said, you know what, you do have good things to say. And they're not yes people. They're just like, girl, they will tell me when I'm crazy. Right. And so those also will help me to find the confidence to be myself, so that when a man does approach me, he's getting for real me and not some covered up version of me.
Yeah, that is so good. I completely agree with that. I think what we often call beauty, universally, men and women, it a lot of it is rooted in a version of happy and healthy, right? Healthy, the body image stuff. Sometimes it's like, oh, we'll favor certain body part over another. That part's weird. But overall, healthier is considered more attractive. Happier is considered more attractive. And a lot of the things, the dyes, the fixes, the surgeries are really about imitating what really healthy looks like, right? What healthy and happy looks like. And in order to have that, instead of looking for, I think that's such a big difference, what you hit on. So I'm putting on makeup because I'm beautiful, and I'm hiding something beautiful, not to cover up what I think is ugly and turn it into something beautiful. Or when a man says hello to me, I'm not hoping to get his affirmation that I'm beautiful, which can make a woman come off as needy or desperate. So that a healthy man is kind of pushed away, and a man looking to take advantage of women is drawn
It's
in.
like, oh, you have low self-esteem? Come on.
You're the kind I'm looking for, right? Or being so marked or scarred by a sense of rejection and insecurity that we're bracing for rejection and are therefore you in the sense of bracing for abuse. And listen, if we've been abused, we need to acknowledge that, go to our therapy, do that work,
Do the work.
those things, but so that we're not so bracing for abuse and rejection that we're hard, right? And there are many beautiful, beautiful, intelligent women who actually have something to say and would actually be wonderful companions. But because we haven't gone ahead and done that work, we maybe we're turning men off from the beginning. Or what I mean by off, I mean away, right? Or maybe that the initial engagement is good, but as soon as it begins to grow into intimacy a little bit, we can start to then push off and
Right.
really, really strange. And then guys left, a nice, sweet guy is kind of confused and himself now insecure.
So he's like, what did I miss here?
Defending himself and not sure,
Yeah.
I know that we sometimes we just imagine men as only being about sex or being angry or hard, but men are very tender as well. Men that are hard are taught to be hard by someone, right? Men who are bullies were usually bullied, by someone, and they can also be hurt from rejection and really sensitive to the potential of that. So I mean, I hope we can humanize men. I know the feminism was important in the sense anytime we're moving against a form of oppression, sometimes we can go too far in certain ways in the wrong direction. I know that we need equality, we need equity in what we earn and in freedom. And we know there's some atrocious things that have been done to women throughout the world over time. But as we embrace the leadership ability God's given us, the voice that God's given us, the value, the beauty, the strength that God's given us, we still need to be sure that we're also valuing our counterpart and we're not doing the same kinds of things that were done to us. Right? Where we're trying to take strength by putting somebody else down.
I agree with you 100%. I think that I am a strong woman who grew up around strong women. And I think when you are, you know, but I also have my father. And in my relationship with my father, there is a different part of me that is expressed. And I think I said this on a different on a podcast on a meditation Monday. It's like my dad never tries to stamp out my strength, but he offers himself so that I don't have to do it on my own. And so what that did is it changed my mentality of like, oh no, he wasn't trying to take my voice away. He was just trying to let me know I didn't have to do it by myself. Right?
So good.
And that's the difference, I think, because when you grow up with strong women, it's like, okay, we're going to do it. We're going to take charge. We're leaders. We're amazing. And I'm so grateful. Listen, hardworking women, I'm so grateful. But there is a difference in recognizing your leadership ability and your strength and thinking that you need to fight alone. And I don't think we recognize the difference of like, we don't have to do it by ourselves. We don't have to be the strong African-American, strong Hispanic, doing it all and doing it and cooking all the cakes and taking care of the kid. Like we take that as a badge of honor. In some sense it is, but in another sense, it's like, but you're not any less significant if you need help.
Come on.
Right? You're not any less powerful because you have someone there to help you. And so for me, that place of there's a level of confidence, of Godfidence in letting someone help me because I'm trying to live up to this moniker of what a strong woman is, what an independent woman is. I have to be now intentional about saying, I could do that. I know I could do that, but also I'm going to let you do it.
Yeah.
Right. And not allowing my insecurity to determine how much I'm willing to let you in because I'm afraid of what other people are going to think about me for allowing you to maybe take the lead on this or maybe to do this when I know I could do it. Right. And I think in relationships now, I don't know, because I ain't never been married, but I think you play to each other's strengths anyway, right? So if she's better at finances and he's better at, I don't know, house cleaning, that's just kind of what happens, right? I'm not saying that one is mask. I'm not assigning gender to that. But I think like there is something to be said for allowing yourself to let someone in that also takes confidence.
Yeah.
Right. Because being vulnerable, and I'm talking about like, if you don't do this, it ain't going to happen vulnerable. I'm not talking about like, oh, I'm opening up. There's a beauty to that too. But like, oh no, we are depending on each other.
Yeah.
That's scary. Right. And especially in a day and age where it seems like relationships feel very expendable and everybody just kind of, you don't do what I like. So I just, chuck the deuces up. I feel like in that way, it's learning how to stay in a situation where where you're giving yourself permission to be dependent on someone. And then if they don't do it, you feel it. That is also scary too. And that takes confidence as well.
Well, Tasha, I think you're right. You're right on. The confidence and the strength it takes to be vulnerable, to be open, to relate in a different way, to open up our life to somebody else, which is a whole nother conversation. Is it that you want to just be chosen to be someone's wife, or are you ready to open up your life, slow it down, change the pace, remix it, completely incorporate whole other human souls?
Yep.
And that's a good conversation. I'm definitely gonna have you back on.
Yes.
And we could talk about this thing some more. We're just having conversations about what healthy and sustainable relationships look like, and what
Yeah.
who are positioning themselves for marriage can do to prepare to have that good relationship. And we do it, of course, every Monday at 5:30 p.m. So at this time, Tasha and I we're gonna sign off because Pastor Nick has Meditation Mondays in about 15 minutes, and he's definitely texted me a couple times like, "Hey, I got a show too." So if you are watching here on any platform, Firehouse, YouTube, or Facebook, or you know, Pastor Nick's page, whatever, go on ahead, come back on 6:30 Meditation Monday. We're going to talk about actually it's a really great topic. It's about the church and about
the transition.
Yeah, it's that issue of being taught to suppress or repress emotion and expression, and kind of that morph thing of on Christianity and its effect. And so anyway, he's got some great guests and it's going to be awesome. So I'm gonna log off now. I want to say thank you, LaTasha.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was amazing, and we will catch y'all again. All right.
Bless. Bye.